think we are live now, isn't it?
Yep, we're live. Hey everyone.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to SubQuery's first ever community call. My name is Sam, CEO of SubQuery. It is a great pleasure to meet you all today. We will try to do this community call on a regular basis from now on. If you have any questions, feel free to leave your comments here or ask in our Discord channel. We will try to answer them all. We have got a lot to cover today. Can't wait to share them to you all. In today's agenda, firstly, I will quickly go through the overview of the SubQuery project, especially for those of you who are new to the project and our community. Then I will pass it to my colleague to talk about building community, SubQuery Academy, and the product roadmap. SubQuery's mission is to make the world's decentralized data more accessible. Every blockchain development team needs to process and query the chain data, but the data on the chain is stored in a horrible format to read and query. It can take hours to traverse the entire chain to get the information you need in your D app. SubQuery is here to help to make this faster and easier. Not like Ethereum architecture with only one smart contract layer. Polkadot actually has a unique three-layer architectures. On top layer is a relay chain like Kusama and Polkadot. Then we have parachains like Acala, Moonbeam, or A-Star around it. You can also deploy smart contract into these parachains. So this unique three-layer architecture of Polkadot make it even harder to query the chain data. SubQuery builds a middle layer data solution. One SDK will index all the data developer need from one or multiple substrate chains. So users don't need to work with different SDKs for different chains. One universal SubQuery SDK does all the work for you. The blockchain development team or DApp developers should be focused on their business logic on the front end. Leave all the back-end data processing and infrastructure management to SubQuery. How SubQuery solution works? Firstly, you specify what data is extracted from the chain. For example, only certain calls or events or just every block. You then transfer this data using mapping functions to get the data you want in models that you define. You have complete freedom here. Then your SubQuery project will save this data in a format that you specify in the database. Now you have the right data in the right format in the database. You can query that using GraphQL from anywhere in the world, whether it's your new website or online application or even a mobile application. SubQuery's service include SubQuery SDK, SubQuery projects, SubQuery Explorer. SubQuery open source SDK allows developers to create and run their own SubQuery project. Developers have the power to build their own GraphQL API for their D app, or run it by themselves, or run it in our hosted services. SubQuery projects allows developers to deploy their projects into our hosted services. We will run and manage production infrastructure for anyone who deploying the solution in our hosted platform. It's completely free at this stage. SubQuery Online Explorer enable developers to try out different SubQuery projects made by our community and hosted by us. All SubQuery project code are open source and transparent, so it gives customers who are using it enough confidence. The typical SubQuery use case categories are Explorer, DApp, blockchain development team. All the names in this slide are the current SubQuery customers who are already using SubQuery services for their production application. Probably everyone knows Subscan, right? We work closely with their development team. SubQuery powers some of the data coming from Subscan behind the scenes. Subways is a parachain auction information website. SubQuery powers all the backend data for the website. We're also working closely with the DApp development team, like Fearless Wallet. and some NFT apps like Tenor, blockchain development team like Bifrost and Acala. With more and more parachain launch, Polkadot is booming. We keep improving our solution to provide a better solution and better support for our existing customers and any future customers. SubQuery is still young with only 1 year old. However, we are already the market leader in this growing substrate ecosystem. With over 70 publicly managed SubQuery projects, our hosted services generate millions requests each day. We also partner with some of the top programs in this space, like Web3 Foundation Grant, Substrate Builder Program, Berkeley Blockchain Accelerator Program, Web3 Bootcamp, also both Polkadot and Kusama treasuries. SubQuery existing clients, including all the top-tier Polkadot protocols, and all winners from parachain auction in both Kusama and Polkadot, like Moonbeam, Acala, Ista, Phala, Bifrost, Manta, Parallel Finance, you name it. Fundraising and backers. We raised 1.8 million at the very beginning of this year and closed our second round with over 9 million raised last month. We are backing from big institutional investors like Digital Currency Group, Arrington Venture, to small community crypto fund. With the fund, we will keep growing our community, improving our solutions, finally build and launch SubQuery Network. This will be our focus moving forward. I will pass over to James now. He will talk a bit more about community growth, academy, and our roadmap. Thanks, guys.
And thanks, Sam, for that introduction. If you haven't met me before, my name's James Bailey. I'm the Head of Business Development at SubQuery. Sam, I'll just close your video and I'll share from my screen. Let me find this here. All right. So what we're going to cover today in our first ever community call is 3 main areas. And we keep talking about this all the time. You know, the reason why we went out there and we raised money is to really boost the focus in 3 main areas. The first one is community growth. You know, the community is one of the most important parts of every project, especially in crypto, and that's one big area we're going to focus on. Second one is obviously improve our core product. Without a core product, we wouldn't be here today talking to you. So we can't lose sight of that, and we've got to make sure that we're continually improving it. And then lastly, build the SubQuery network, decentralize our tokenized network. And each of these 3 we're going to be covering today. So let's start with the biggest of the 3, obviously the community. I'm going to hand over to Rob, who is our Head of Marketing. Rob, go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. Well, it's evening here in New Zealand. Thanks for sharing part of your day with us. I see some of our ambassadors in the chat. Thanks for being here, guys, and hopefully a lot of new people who are learning about SubQuery for the first time. As James mentioned, community is a massive focus for us, and there's going to be a lot of interesting things we've got coming up for you, which I'll share a little bit about today. So our objective is to grow an educated and meaningful community that shares our vision of making life easier, particularly for developers, and grows the Web3 ecosystem. We've really been delighted with the growth that we've had in the last 6 months. Our Discord has recently crossed over 5,000 people, and Twitter also over 12,000, and that's really accelerating lately. So thank you for being part of our community. We really appreciate it. One of the interesting things for us is that the community is increasingly global. You know, we have amazing support from places like Russia, Ukraine, Spain, everywhere you can imagine. China, we have an active community. So yeah, it just shows the power of blockchain and the interest in our project, and we're very thankful for that support. As such, we are building out more and more international content to meet the needs of that audience. We have a blog. Apart from our Medium, there's also another blog we have, and we have all of our ambassadors and people have been translating content there. So please, if English isn't your first language, You've done very well to last this long in the call, but there will be a lot of other information on our blog, which you can find there or share with your community. Also, our Discord, while we're very happy with it so far, I'd urge you to join if you haven't, because we'll be building out a lot of extra features and functionality in the next few months, increasingly as we get closer and closer to TG and have more requirements from different aspects of our community, such as indexes and so on. We're also a strong advocate of sharing information, upskilling our community. One thing we've done recently, which Sally will touch on, is we've launched an academy, and they will continue to create more and more content for all of our audiences, whether you're a beginner in blockchain or more advanced. As a developer-oriented project, we're also mindful that we need to keep our developer community engaged and involved, and so we'll be providing opportunities in the ways of hackathons and also technical bounties to work with our team and with some of our clients. So how else can you be involved? Well, we have several initiatives within our Discord server. One of them is the Ambassador Program, which has been really, really successful. We put out a call about 3 or 4 months ago trying to get ambassadors involved in our project, and we were amazed that we had, in a very short time, over 4,000 people who have applied to be part of the program, and actually caused us some issues that we were so popular. So we're very thankful for the support, and this is really helping us drive our move to go global and engage with technical communities in all of these different countries. Now I'll pass over to Sally. Sally's just joined us, and she's leading our community within Discord, and we're working with me to build out our marketing as we go forward. And once again, thank you for being involved, and we look forward to working with you more from here.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. It's really great to finally meet you all on this call in a more engaging way like this. It's been really nice getting to know the community on Discord so far, and I hope to continue strengthening the health of our community. Hence, the Spartan program I plan to explain to you today is particularly exciting for me to share. As Rob mentioned, the number of applications for our ambassador program has become overwhelming and unsustainable for the team to manage. We also wanted to create a more transparent pathway to becoming an ambassador and allow for more engagement in the community. So we created the Spartan program in consultation with our existing ambassadors. The Spartan program will launch on November the 1st, and it will consist of activities for our community to participate in to become a Spartan. On Monday, we will announce this first set of activities on Discord under a channel called Quest. These activities will be a range of tasks to raise awareness and adoption of SubQuery. At the end of the Quest period, we will go through the submissions with the help of our ambassadors and select the first group of Spartans. When you become a Spartan, you will gain more community perks such as merch, more insights into our projects, and new responsibilities. Furthermore, members of the Spartan program will have a chance to be nominated by our existing ambassadors to join the ranks. We will continue to improve and establish our community programs as we learn and grow together, and it is great that you're part of this journey with us today. Another component we would like to cover during this community call is our academy. This academy has been developed by Sean, and it is designed to get a developer from knowing nothing about SubQuery to deploying subqueries and building a simple front-end app that interacts with a SubQuery project. The course will be released with a new module every week for 6 weeks, and it is 100% free and accessible online. In each module, there are several 5 to 10 minute video lessons along with written tutorials, slides, lab workbooks, and links to the finished GitHub code repository. So on this academy, we have 2 pathways. On our certification pathway, your progress will be tracked on our learning platform after you register. And you'll be able to get a certificate in the future when all the modules are completed. If you do not mind getting the certificate, you can also follow along on our documentation website, which contains the same course content. We launched our first module last Friday and already have hundreds of people starting their learning journey with us. So yeah, that's really good news, and I'll pass it back to James.
Yeah, thanks, Sally. We had so many people join us on Friday to work on the first step of the academy that we kind of overwhelmed in terms of our hosted service. But anyway, that's always a good thing to have, and we're really kind of we really love the attention that the community is giving us and the effort that you guys are putting into learning through this SubQuery Hero course. It's really inspiring to us all. And yeah, thanks, Sally, again. If you guys ever want to talk, just jump on our Discord. There's a link at the bottom of this video link, this crowdcast. Please hop on there and ask us any questions in there afterwards. All right, so that's our community growth aspect of our main 3 areas. The second one is improving the core product. And as I said before, without the core product, without the SubQuery SDK that we released in January, we wouldn't be here today talking to you. So we're continually improving that, and we've been doing a lot of work in the past for the SubQuery Network, but there's one thing that we're about to release or announce today that's really exciting. This is huge, okay? And it really plays into the problem that Sam talked about right at the start of this call, right? SubQuery has been built from the start to work with any single parachain by doing some basic imports of types and other definitions that follow along and define how the chain works, the parachain works. You can make SubQuery work with any parachain. And that's been amazingly successful and allows us to go out there and get a lot of customers from all the different parachains around the Polkadot network on board. But there's one part that we haven't had for a long time, well, we haven't had until now. And that's an aspect that we're seeing as very successful. And today, we are happy to announce that SubQuery will finally provide support for the Moonriver EVM. We're over the moon, quite literally, or quite pun intended. So Moonriver, which is the Canary network on Kusama by Moonbeam, it is a very EVM-focused network. And what the EVM means is it's an Ethereum virtual machine. It allows developers to easily port their applications from the Ethereum world to the advanced world of Polkadot. You can bring all the applications and users from Ethereum and give them something in the future with the advanced scalability, functionality of Polkadot and Moonriver especially. And the support that we're going to launch very soon, which is complete support for the EVM, allows you to index both data within the EVM and within Substrate. It allows Polkadot and Ethereum developers to seamlessly integrate both Substrate and EVM data into one unified data source and then query that using GraphQL. So in the past, right, you have 2 different worlds on Moonriver. You have an Ethereum world and a Polkadot world, and you might see that manifest in a way that when you look at certain things on Moonriver, you might go to Block Scout or Etherscan, but you also have to go to Subscan and Pokerscan to look at some other data. What this now allows you to do, and we believe it's the first of its kind, is to collect and query and index that data in one place. It means that application developers no longer have to choose between one side or the other. They can build applications that take advantage of smart contracts on the EVM, but also all the other things on Polkadot and bridges to other parachains as well. So this partnership with Moonbeam brings a complete and unified data indexing solution for all blockchain data within Moonriver and will greatly benefit Moonriver's growing application ecosystem. Moonriver is clearly a thriving ecosystem, and we're very proud to be a part of that. So we are at the moment putting the final touches on that. SubQuery is open source, so you can actually go in and have a look, but we expect to have most of it out next week. And that will include, example projects, live demos, workshops, tutorials, documentation, and it might even feature one day in an academy course later on. But you should keep an eye out for that next week. This is going to be huge. So that's our Moonriver support, improving the core product. There's many other improvements that I won't mention on this call. I'll put you all to sleep, that we're constantly doing to our SubQuery SDK. But that's one that we're particularly excited about and is particularly huge. So now we move to the SubQuery Network, our third and arguably one of the biggest and the most difficult challenges that SubQuery faces. How to take a working project that has been built and many users, there are millions of requests each and every day, there are more than 60 projects using it, how to take this working project and then adapt it to the decentralized and tokenized ecosystem. And that is obviously the SubQuery network. So, what are we going to announce today? And obviously you guys all know, we're going to announce our technical roadmap. Now this is actually quite a big milestone for us. The technical roadmap is a lot of work that goes into this to clearly write down all the steps that we need to do, all the pieces we need to put in place, all the tasks that we need to solve, all the solutions we need to find in order to get us to the SubQuery network in the future. And today we're really happy to kind of share that with you and give you a quick walkthrough of all these pieces. So, let's dive into it. At a high level, this here is the SubQuery roadmap. I know it's quite a lot here, so we're going to go into this in detail, but we're trying to be as transparent as a project as possible. We're trying to share as much as possible with the community, and we're going to put down as much as we possibly can. This roadmap focuses on the next 6 months, but it also goes further in terms of where our thinking is further afield. So let's get started by going through piece by piece. So, just to quickly go back, where we are now. As we said today, we have just announced support for parachains and for the Ethereum virtual machine. That's our first kind of step. This allows Polkadot and Ethereum developers to seamlessly integrate both EVM and substrate data into one place. SubQuery is also introducing more advanced filters than other indexes, allowing filtering of like non-contract transactions, transaction senders, contracts, index logs. There's a lot of technical detail here that the substrate or the Solidity developers on this call, will appreciate. The SubQuery Academy, obviously, we launched last week, and that's been a huge success so far, and that will continue every week on week. It's a perfect way to learn something in the weekend. I don't know about you, but I love a nice quiet Saturday where I can take some time off to learn something new. Proof of indexing. This one's a little bit under the hood, but effectively allows us to guarantee that two different indexes working on the same SubQuery project in separation can guarantee to have the same data. It's a critical component of our decentralized SubQuery network. We need it to ensure that two different people on the opposite sides of the planet indexing the same data source are in agreement. Technically, we use a concept called Merkle mountain ranges to confirm and guarantee this, and we'll go into a bit more detail on that and probably another blog post. And then lastly, now, we're just in the short term, we're working on premium enterprise services. We have many large customers out there running production applications on SubQuery. Teams like Fearless Wallet, Polkadot, Karura, and these teams are demanding improved performance and higher levels of reliability, and we're working to meet that challenge. We're rising to the challenge with service level agreements, enterprise service tiers, and other tools that our larger customers will benefit from, and means our hosted service is the best place to host your data indexing solution on Polkadot. So that's where we are now, or we're in the short term. Next, milestone 1. This we're planning to get by the end of this year. And the big one that you'll see is the SubQuery Builders or Grants program. This program will be designed to facilitate and catalyze innovation within Polkadot and SubQuery, and to build the next generation of decentralized applications. We will go into this more in the coming weeks, into the particular detail, but quietly, this one's going to be big. So the coordinator, the SubQuery Network contract internal MVP, this again is under the hood. It's like the first kind of internal MVP of our SubQuery network, and it's going to be a very iterative process, but it's a big milestone for us internally. It's us inside the company being able to test the SubQuery network and testing out as many things as possible here. And so it's a huge milestone for us to complete. The coordinator and client SDK improvements, they're under the hood improvements that we need for the SubQuery network. The coordinator, for example, is used by indexes to advertise that they're on the network and they're sharing data. So these are critical components. EU cluster, European cluster. We have many customers asking for cluster support for SubQuery, the hosted SubQuery service from Europe. That means data that's close to their customers, based in Europe, data that's faster for their customers. And we're going to do this. It also means more resiliency for the SubQuery hosted service. It might come faster than you think, actually. And then finally, SubQuery init improvements. This one's a bit vague, but if you've ever built a SubQuery project, you'll be familiar with the SubQuery init command. It's used to start your SubQuery project. It represents a blank canvas, limitless opportunities. But we're aware that we can kind of do better with this command to help users get started. So rather than a blank canvas per se, why don't we give you maybe a blank scaffold with more information, more boilerplate code, more tools to allow you to build faster and get started straight away. So this roadmap item represents the work in general that we want to do around this. Okay, so that's milestone 1, end of the year. Milestone 2, middle of quarter of Q1. So this is around end of February, mid to end of February next year. This is the big one, public testnet launch. Following our internal MVP that we talked about earlier, we'll now invite, at this stage, a small group of participants on board to join us. And the details for this entire thing will come out probably early next year, so don't ask now, but we'll have a huge amount of documentation, a lot of tasks to do by then, but this will be a big one and a big milestone. It means that external people around the world will be able to participate in a SubQuery test network. Point-in-time indexing, the Network Explorer and Decentralized Application, or DApp, that's an application that these participants can use to see what data is on chain, to see how it's operating. It's a classic explorer for the SubQuery network. Point-in-time indexing. Imagine if you want to know what a SubQuery project said at a point in history. Like what happened in this SubQuery project at the 4 millionth block on Polkadot. So the point-in-time indexing allows us to do that. It's a new feature that we want to do, that we've been working on. SubQuery Network Contract V1 and external code audit. So taking all that code from the SubQuery network and getting an external code audit is a really important part about any decentralized network, especially when it's going to be as big as SubQuery is. So we're going to take all our code and we're going to get involved with a large external auditor to make sure that our code is audited. Internal micropayments testing. This is probably going to be a first one in Polkadot. Making sure that Polkadot and SubQuery Network can handle lots of tiny micropayments. So every request can be a tiny micropayment. The advantage of Polkadot obviously is absolutely tiny transaction fees, meaning micropayments are going to be much more relevant here. And we'll roll this out to our incentivized test network over time. Finally, enterprise health monitoring. We'll hope to bring this sooner, but again, it's around those enterprise hosted service support, allowing our customers to know exactly how their SubQuery project's running, what they can do to improve it, and when it goes down. You wouldn't believe it, guys. I just crashed. My computer, my browser crashed. So really sorry about that. Apologize. But we'll carry on. It was too hot for Chrome. Let me share my screen again. Where is that up to? All right, so we're here at the milestone 2. Let me focus that. Can everyone hear me fine? Can everyone hear me fine? Yeah, assume you can. Let's check. Yeah, everything's running. Cool. Okay. Milestone 2. Sorry about that, guys. It was my computer crashed, but we're back. Okay, so milestone 2, that's in the middle of Q1. Milestone 3, the next one. Now this one is what you guys were looking for, okay? The SubQuery token generation event. This is when we're taking all that stuff and we're finally generating those tokens. And I hope you kind of understand our thinking behind this, right? Is we want to do all this work to make sure that SubQuery is going to be huge. It's going to be successful. It's going to be scalable. It's going to be incredibly successful before we worry about that token. We want to have all our tokenomics all sorted by this stage. We want to have the exact numbers all set up. And we'll be sharing improvements to our tokenomics, our white paper, in the coming weeks. Perhaps at our next community call. Now the public incentivized testnet launch is an extension of that first testnet that we're going to do. But this one is obviously incentivized and includes micropayments. It allows us to do a lot of more advanced testing, scale and load testing, fine-tuning our economic model, and all those coefficients and equations, testing our documentation and onboarding processes, and making sure that you can transact with a precursor to SubQuery tokens within it. So that's really where the depth of the test network testing is. One thing to note, it's incentivized, right? We expect to be rewarding participants that play a part in this, those that complete certain quests or tasks, and those that act as different members in our network. Data, traffic, insights, and reporting. The last two here are mostly around the SubQuery projects, our hosted service, giving our customers the ability to see what's happening in their applications, allowing them to see how users are using those, where they're coming from, what requests they're making, what requests are failing. Scalable intelligent routing. Again, we have a goal of taking our SubQuery hosted service to 1 billion requests every day. And 1 billion daily requests is a huge number. It's like 8,000 or 9,000 requests every second. So what that means is we need to do a lot of work to make sure it's scalable. And part of that is scalable intelligent routing. We have multiple SubQuery hosted services running around the world, closer to all our customers, that if one goes down, there's another one ready to take its place. That's milestone 3. Milestone 4. The launch of the SubQuery Foundation. This is the first step of our plan to decentralize the SubQuery network. And it's around establishing the SubQuery Foundation to govern the future of the SubQuery network. It's a huge organizational change, but it's one step towards our goal of becoming a DAO. We want to finalize research into other layer 1 chains. We've told you before, we're keen to expand SubQuery into other layer 1s. We've built SubQuery from the start to be configurable, to work with hundreds of different Polkadot parachains. Next step is to take that to another layer 1. And so we want to do a lot of research by this stage to know what our path would be for that. Now, keep in mind though, Polkadot is our home, and we'll always have a focus on Polkadot and making sure that we remain the #1 indexing solution in Polkadot. And then finally, a liquidity mining program. And that's really to enhance the liquidity of the SubQuery token. We'll create a liquidity mining program for decentralized exchange, which allows token holders to generate returns on their investment. Finally, and this stuff is going further into the longer term, so bear in mind that these are more fuzzy, but again, transparency with the project. Milestone 5, later on in 2022, and that's a typo, it should be 2022. Mainnet launch. After complete testing of the SubQuery network, after sorting out all the rewards, we want to test the main network. We want to launch the SubQuery main network, the SubQuery network. And this is where everything really begins. This is where all this hard work that more than 25 of us in this team are working on comes together. Initially we'll onboard and reward participants of the test network, but really this will be open for anyone in the world to participate, anyone out there to join, anyone out there to be rewarded, anyone out there to play their part in the SubQuery network. A centralized exchange launch. We're already talking to some centralized exchanges, but we're going to make sure that when we're ready, we're going to have the SubQuery token on one, if not multiple, leading centralized exchanges, as well as, of course, many decentralized exchanges. Finally, milestone 6, a lot further away, but we want to let you know. This is kind of our vision and our goal here for SubQuery. It's less about the timing here, but more about where we want to get to. And the SubQuery launching its own parachain, we've always said that's one thing that we want to do. We want to have our SubQuery on its own parachain. Initially, we're going to launch it on another Polkadot parachain, and we'll let you know our ideas around that soon in the coming weeks. But longer term, we want to have our own parachain, and so that's kind of our goal in the end. And then, as I said before, the SubQuery Foundation, this decentralized organization, needs to move to a community-owned DAO, and that could be a very, very long-term goal, but it is one that we have as a company. It is important to us that the community has a very active role in this. The community plays a part in this, and the community is leading to define and influence the direction of the SubQuery project. Awesome. So that there is a summary of our SubQuery roadmap. There's a lot there, as you can see, and we'll be releasing this a lot more in detail. I think we'll put a picture up soon, but what we will do is we will put a detailed rundown, just like I did now, very soon, that goes through each and every point and gives a backstory to each and every point. All right, so in summary, we've talked about 3 things today. We've talked about, in terms of going forward, we talked about 3 main things. We talked about community, which is very important, and under community, Rob has shared some information about the incredible growth that we've experienced. The Discord community we have, and it's a very vibrant Discord community. I really enjoy going in there and looking around at what happens. I'll share one thing with you guys. Every Friday, our entire company comes together in a Teams call or a call together, and we always kind of look through the Discord and we look at the art channel and the meme channel and all have a laugh together. We really appreciate everything that goes into those channels in Discord. It's great work. Some of you guys are amazing artists, amazing meme creators. I'm sure there's a word for a meme creator, but we really appreciate it, and trust us, we are all going through that every week on a Friday together and enjoying it. We launched the SubQuery Spartan program, a way for all those people that missed out on the ambassadors for now to take that step up. And as we talked about, the Spartan program is a great first step towards potentially becoming an ambassador in the future. So we're looking forward to launching that. And finally, building out the SubQuery Academy. The runaway success of the SubQuery Academy so far has really inspired us. And you'll see programs coming out week by week, but you'll also see additional tutorials and other programs coming out over time in the future. Developer education is one of the most important things that we can do at SubQuery. Our customers are developers, our users are developers. Without developers, SubQuery doesn't really solve much. So helping developers get started, get into the blockchain world, get into Polkadot, that's key for us. We talked about how we're improving our core product with our launch of the Moon River EVM support to combine both substrate and EVM data. And then finally, we walked through the SubQuery Network, the entirety of the roadmap, piece by piece. And we're going to be sharing that online soon for detailed rundown. So that there is a summary. Now what's coming? As Sam said at the start, this is the first ever SubQuery Sessions, our monthly community call. But it definitely won't be the last. In fact, we'll be doing these month by month from here on out. Some things that you can look forward to very soon, if not next week or the coming weeks, is some more information about our grants program. We are looking forward to building a grants program that gets out there and rewards people to come in and build stuff using SubQuery and the Polkadot ecosystem. And that's going to be a huge announcement when it comes out, so look out for that very soon. We're also going to talk about maybe tokenomics soon. We're doing some more work on that, and we want to make sure it's perfect, okay? There's no point us kind of releasing something. We want to make sure that it is well thought through, maximizing the community involvement, but also ensuring that SubQuery only goes upwards. And then finally, we want to talk about who we're going to launch with on a parachain. As I said, in long term, we want to be our own parachain. SubQuery will become its own parachain. But in the short term, we want to launch in partnership with one of the top Polkadot parachains. And we're working through that detail right now, but we'll share that soon. So, as we said before, we're thanking you all for joining this call, and we want to give away some earphones. We've got some really cool earphones that we've got that are SubQuery branded on them. They actually work really well. I've been using them myself, but they're super awesome. And I don't know if you guys have used like those kind of Bluetooth headphones before, but they're really useful to just kind of walk outside when you listen to music, or just pick up the phone with your earphones. So we've got 5 giveaway winners listed here. Sally will be reaching out to you, or you can reach out to Sally, and she'll arrange the delivery of those prizes to you. But yeah, thanks for liking and sharing our Twitter posts. We really appreciate it. And then yeah, that's really it today. Thank you very much for joining, everyone. We'll probably stick around on Discord to answer questions. So if you want to come and join us, there's a little button at the bottom of the screen here, at the bottom of this crowdcast, which says join our Discord, and that will take you right into the Discord channel, where you can kind of talk about or ask us questions. Sam, do you have anything else you want to add to this?
Yeah. Am I live? Oh, thanks, James.
You are?
Yeah, thanks, James. You did awesome. They take through the to community what's going on with the SubQuery, especially the technical roadmap. Thanks a lot. So yeah, so our next focus is really building decentralized SubQuery network. So what we're gonna do is, of course, at the meantime, we're gonna focus building our community as well. We're gonna have 2 communities, right? One is really, because our project is really developer focused. So developer always our core resources. So we're gonna focus building a developer community. In the meantime, we'll also get a more wider community to join us. In our technical roadmap, what we're gonna do is probably in the earlier next year, we're gonna do our token generation events, which means we need more community members to join us. We need more awareness, not just in the Polkadot ecosystem, but in the whole blockchain ecosystem, right? So it's really, really exciting moment, earlier next year. Again, this is our first ever community call. So what we're gonna do is, we're gonna regularly, to have this community call from now on. So from time to time, we're gonna keep talking to you guys. So yeah, also James shared, the big news, which is, SubQuery already is supporting, the EVM, especially Moon River EVM. So what happened was, from time to time, we have a strong, connection with all the Polkadot ecosystem protocols like, Moonbeam or Acala. Actually the Moonbeam team talked to us the challenges they have. But probably you guys are already aware, actually Moonbeam make an announcement, like the graph support Moonbeam. But however, the graph is only support from Ethereum side, but doesn't support, substrate. So because we are the substrate in the native substrate, like indexing protocol, actually Moonbeam team talked to us the challenges they have, to indexing both the substrate and the Ethereum EVM. So when we look at the problems, we see this that's exactly SubQuery trying to resolve, right? It only took us a couple of days to get the problem resolved. That's the value for SubQuery really. So
and it also shows how we built SubQuery to just work with all these different data sources, right? Like we built it in a way that is so easy to expand to the EVM.
Yeah, exactly. As I explained earlier. So basically, we have a universal SDK, which is one universal SubQuery SDK, that's work for all substrate chains. But right now, not only substrate chain, but also any EVM compatible protocols we all support it. So it's really, really, really good thing for the ecosystem protocols, right? Also, it's good for the DApp developers who ever want to build any DApps on top of this project or on top of these protocols, right? So yeah, it's really looking very exciting, in the coming month, right? So when you guys to see, our technical roadmap, so it's a lot of a lot of things happens in our team. So right, man. Yeah.
And the team is growing, Sam, right?
Yeah, the team is growing. Let me share a little bit more with the team growing. At the very beginning of this year, right, we only have roughly around 10 people. But right now, the team grows more than 25 people globally. Of course, majority of us still from New Zealand though. So yeah, but we do have colleagues from worldwide, from US, from Singapore, from China, from India, from everywhere in the world, right? The team is still growing. So, whoever interested to build, SubQuery project, feel free to, to send your CV to us. We are looking for more talents to join us. So yeah, feel free, join us and grow with us together.
And that's one thing that this grants program that we're going to talk about very soon, but a sneak peek, right, is we want, people are building these cool SubQuery projects, and we talk to parachain teams every day. We talk to Acala, Phala, Moonbeam, Asta. We talk to all these parachain teams very regularly, and they always ask us, do you know someone that can build us a SubQuery project that solves this problem, right? Can you build us a SubQuery project that gets data for this different application that we want to build? And the problem with right now is that no one in our ecosystem has time, but we all want to help people learn it and come in and build for us, and obviously be rewarded. But we're looking for people that can build a SubQuery project to come and join us, to send us an example when you're built, and then let us know, and we will we'll set you up with one of these parachain teams. We'll set you up for the task, the project. We're looking for those kind of people.
Yeah, so probably we're gonna release our grant program in details in next week or two. So you guys, is a decent amount of incentive for our grant program. We'll share with you guys, in details. Hopefully in next week or two, right? So as James mentioned, from time to time, we always talking with our ecosystem partners, like Moonbeam or A-Star or Acala. We know exactly, their pins, right? So, but now the problem is we really need more talents to working with us together to solve all the problems, we are facing. We cannot just solve it by ourselves, to be honest. So we really need to get more people, to join us, to grow with us, to make the world better, right? But at this stage, we make the Polkadot ecosystem better. Then later on, the whole blockchain ecosystem, right? So yeah.
Yeah. I just got a couple of questions that we haven't answered already, I guess. There's one here that, what about projects with small capital? Will they be able to be hosted in SubQuery? Yeah, as Sam said at the start, right, we have a SubQuery hosted service, and that is currently free. So any project, once you've built a SubQuery project, you can publish it through SubQuery projects, and you can run it, and we'll run it for you online for free. So we already provide that today for developers. In fact, after Academy, I think we got about 50 projects being uploaded to our SubQuery hosted service, SubQuery projects, in the space of one weekend. So we came back on Monday and we're like, where are all these new projects coming from? And it's just because everyone is doing the Academy and then publishing that to SubQuery, and obviously we're running them for them. It's excellent. It's excellent to see.
Okay, cool. Yeah, there is another question from the community. A SubQuery Explorer is created for community. Everybody can see each other products. How can you prevent and restrict the duplication among the products? Awesome question. So in our hosted services, so what we do is when you publish, or deploy your SubQuery project into our hosted services, we do have a feature. Basically, you can, take your project, make it private, which means we won't make it public available. Only yourself, only your team can see, you can see the project. So that means, right, that particular project only for your team or for your D app. So yeah, we do have that feature already in our hosted services.
And I think we'll
There's
call it
quite
there,
a lot.
I think.
Yeah, there's
a lot of
quite
questions.
questions.
But come and jump in on the Discord channel, and we'll answer them there. A lot of them we've already answered in this call, I guess. Anything else that you want to talk about, Sam?
There's a lot of questions actually quite duplicate, right? Well, this is from the top, right, really. So, someone asked, tell about team of the project, most important partnership. Really, the whole Polkadot ecosystem protocols, as I said, you name it, all the top tier protocols, also including, the winners from parachain auction, both Kusama, Polkadot, they all are partners. Because actually in past of year also, we're working really quietly. We didn't make a lot of an announcement, like, we partner with this and with this. Actually, we already partner with all of them, but just haven't got a chance to make any announcement yet. So from now on, probably we'll keep, make those partner announcements from time to time.
Yeah, we'll be doing them regularly. And as one thing we're working on right now is getting a lot of partners through, and we've been helping them all build their own SubQuery project, which takes time, but it means that we're starting to see a lot of them coming through, and we should have a lot of announcements coming soon.
Okay, I think there's a lot of questions, as I said. So what we're gonna do is probably we'll put it in our Discord channel. Maybe we can answer from there. So
yeah. So thank you everyone for joining. If you haven't already, click on that link, join the Discord, and we'll carry on the conversation there. Really appreciate it, everyone.
Thanks. See you next time. Goodbye.
See you all.